Yes, I heard about this issue this morning where I gather there is allegations that people's phones have been used to locate them and then abduct them or take them under arrest. And I don't know enough about this issue yet. What I will say is the laws of privacy, the rule of law around, your rights as a private citizen always need to be respected in democracies. And democracies and democratic values are something we share with Kenya. And so I'm certain that people will look into this situation, and I think we should, take it very seriously because.
So things are not very yummy in Kenya. Now, why did I play that first video? You can see Meg Whitman is an American and understands very well what democracy means. You heard what she said. In a democratic nation, privacy is a very important matter. Now, it has come as a saddening information that Safaricom is collaborating with the government, and they indicated the police officers, some of whom are from DCI and other quarters, to find where individuals who are talking against the government are, and then deal with them through abductions, and later on some of them found dead. And you've seen such incidences. And now let's go to one of the person who has met this through an illegal arrest, an arrest that was not actually up to, it did not add up.
Mimi ni Mkenya na wewe ni Mkenya kama mimi. Hapa ni home. Kenya ni nyumbani. Tumezaliwa hapa na tunalipa ushuru. Hii ushuru tunalipa inanunua bunduki, inanunua risasi, inalipa polisi mishahara including DCI na NIS. Tunawalipa ili watuchunge mimi na wewe. Hatuwalipi ili watuue. When the security organs of the nation for which we pay taxes from our pocket, when we buy something at the shop, when we pay token, these taxes is supposed to be used to buy security equipment and software to protect you and me. But when the Criminal Research Intelligence Bureau, instead of collecting data on criminals, is collecting data on people who are opposing the government or opposing bad governance, ili watafute wauawe. When information of the tokens that you pay kwa KPLC inatumika kwa identify plot number yako, ili watu wakuje kwako kuku-abduct kuenda kuuawa, then we are losing our direction as a nation.
So I hope you can see how bleak situations are. This is one of the victims of abductions, or rather arrests that are unwarranted. And that is why I played the clip, so that you can hear what he's saying. And it seems whatever he's saying is truthful. Though today DCI was standing and saying it is not true. But then until the abductions stop, that's when we can actually trust in whatever they are saying. Now let's get forward to see another clip. It's the opposition demanding from a Maverick that all of us know. And we've seen clips moving around and how she was abducted.
For fellow Kenyans, the significant increase in arbitrary arrests, enforced disappearances, torture, and extrajudicial killings should be deeply of concern not only to law-abiding Kenyans, but also the international community and our development partners. If it was not clear before, the release of the investigative report, the lifting of the fog, or lawyers say lifting the veil, reviews of the Kenya Police Service motto of utumishi kwa wote, quote unquote, or service to all, quote unquote, has been substituted by utumishi kwa Kenya Kwanza, Kenya Kwanza, quote unquote. Since June, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, and the Police Reforms Working Group have reported 23 murders, 34 forcibly vanished individuals, and 164 arrests.
Hope you've got it. Do you think you're immune to this? Depending on where and what you do. Everybody is vulnerable to this. Now, you can see 100 arrests, 23 abductions. Those are not very limited numbers in a year. And we have been hearing this, just watching the news, and it ends like that. For how long is this going to happen? And it seems like they're in for it. As currently we wait for Maverick to appear, we wonder where she is. Now remember recently, the day she was abducted, Mwangi was also arrested and then taken to Kamkunji for some hours, slept in and got out without any charges. So now let's say there's a discussion going on in the media, and this is what the general feeling was.
And I am just worried because I see our country drifting into that bad behavior. I see my country becoming a country that information that is coming out. And Ayub, I would like to link up what you've asked me with what the president is saying. I just want to tell the president that we are not propagandizing or giving the government a bad name. No, we're just stating the facts.
Now this is where IPOA should come out. It is the work of the IPOA to investigate the conduct of police officers, and they are using public money to run their offices.
Montesquieu said that the greatest tyranny is done under the shield of government or the law. Now, the President has sent a chill throughout the security system. And that chill is connected to State House, where the orders of the police system and the criminal investigation departments are issued. Just yesterday, they let out the People's Watchman, Boniface. And I'm not theorizing. They said that the police kept on saying we got orders from above.
Discussion, you actually see the problem as shared by Onyonka, Richard, Ahmed Hashi, and Peter Masara alongside Ayub in Daybreak. That the problem Kenya is facing is that we are going back to the past times when people fought for their rights, and now the rights are being buried again with the current government thinking everything is being propagandized, and the chill being sent among officers, of course, with people worrying that they may lose office, just like Gachagua had a bill pushing him out of office. Now, what do you think? Is this why abductions are going on and people have been silent for so long? It has taken 100 people to be arrested, you know, in ways that you cannot actually see the legality. 23 dead and all that. For people to come out, even the opposition, and talk about this. And even the talk itself, you've heard IPOA is supposed to work on this aspect, and it was quiet. So now, another issue comes out now in the Senate. There are only few people like Onyonka. You will hear about Sifuna and few others talking about such matters. But the opposition, in one way or another, Raila, for example, seems to have joined the government, and he's so quiet about what he fought for in the past. Yeah, as long as he fought for these rights, currently he's quiet and he's not condoning anything about these abductions, the violent attacks, the way agencies were attacked and killed, some of them, and even on the disappearance of Maverick. I've not heard anything, actually. So let's hear Sifuna from the Senate.
And by way of example, Honorable Speaker, the very first resolution there is that we needed an apology from the National Police Service for all the deaths from peaceful protests. So there is an expectation that the National Police Service also needed to respond to us. There is a question of compensation, and the wording of the motion is compensation from the national government for victims of police brutality. Then, of course, there was the question of amnesty for prosecutions, which was also an expectation of the National Police Service, and a withdrawal of the cases from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. In fact, our standing orders enjoin even those independent offices to be able to implement the resolutions of this House. I was in Kisumu over the weekend, and one of those young people was telling me that they are still facing cases in court. Honorable Speaker, it is also not lost on us that there continue to be complaints of abductions by unknown people suspected to be security officers across the country. Even as we speak, there is a famous case of a lady called Maverick Aoko. Yes, Maverick Aoko, who has been missing for a few days. So, Honorable Speaker, I would also want us as a Senate to ask those independent offices, the responsible or relevant cabinet secretary, in line with Standing Order 255-2, so that they also brief this House on how far we have gone in terms of implementations of the resolution.
Right, Sifuna doesn't know the actual name of Maverick Aoko and is bringing on Auma or something. Who doesn't know her anyway? And from indications, she was used a lot by the current officers, some of them in government. And then after she was, she was already used. From her stories, many of us have heard. And then she was dumped. And now when she became a critic, revealing what has been happening, now that's when she has become a thorn in the flesh of many. So let's see now from the future discussions what is cooking.
As the opposition, we demand that the security services from the National Intelligence Service, NIS, under the leadership of Nordin, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, and the DCI, led by Mohammed Amin, the Anti-Terrorism Police Unit, ATPU, under the leadership of Said Kiprotich, the Serious Crimes Unit, led by Michael Sang, Joseph Boynet, the Deputy National Security Advisor, State House, and the Crime Research Intelligence Unit, CRIB, led by John Onyango, ought to be held accountable for their violations of Kenyans' rights and made criminally responsible. Because at the end of the day, all public officers holding the positions I've mentioned are not above the Constitution.
As you've seen from this video, the key concern is the aspect of privacy being invaded. In no country which calls itself a democratic country do we have like KPLC, which is an energy provision company, Safaricom, which is a provider of communication aspect, being used to track down people and then finish them, arrest, or handle them in a manner that we are seeing here. So what is your view? And what do you think is going to happen? Is the Senate going to save the situation? Today, there were discussions on the same. And it was a very lengthy discussion with women talking about many women have been abducted and killed. And on the other hand, men saying men have also been abducted. So is it supposed to be a one-gendered side or a general talk about Kenyans? Because I didn't feel right when I saw one of the senators talking about men and another about women. It's about Kenyans because it's about human rights, not about women or men's rights. So that's it. And much more is coming up every day.